Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jaylee. This is Jaylee's Corner. I hope everyone is having a great hump day. Happy Wednesday. We are not going to be here long because this is one story that I was going to wait until the weekend to do, but because I felt like it wasn't much gospel stuff to do, I was like, no, get this story out tonight because I was live this morning, okay? So yeah, we're gonna get into this mama, this POS mama. Okay, look, I don't know why all the mamas around here and the daddies and the peoples is not being good parents. Okay. And look, I'm not trying to only cover stuff that's happening here in the surrounding cities, but that's what I see first. Okay. And look, y'all know first things first, if you have not done so already, take a second and like this video. Okay. Share the video, comment in the comment section, and y'all know to subscribe. Okay. Again, I was live this morning at 11 a.m. So if you missed that, go back and watch it. We had a good old conversation and stuff, okay? We had a Love and Marriage Huntsville live and stuff, and then other things too. So y'all can go watch that other stuff. I may come live tomorrow morning at like 11:15 to do a couple of gospel stories because, again, my work schedule is promotion and stuff, and so the schedules have been different. So yeah, I may do 11 o'clock live for little hour stuff or whatever, because sometimes I get home, I am tired, okay? But look, I am around here and hopefully y'all can hear me and stuff. Try my throat. Hey, how y'all doing? How is everyone doing? Okay. If you are watching live, thank you. If you watch the replay, thank you too. Okay. I love everyone around here. Okay, we're gonna have a good old time, one way or the other. Again, still trying to get into these topics that is not gossip related or whatever. And it's just things, because if we can cuss the people out there, celebrities, we can cuss out regular people too. And when I first heard this, I said, what is going on with people? How on the earth can you abandon kids in the house for years? I was like, girl, what is, again, It's so weird to me that people had kids, have multiple children, okay? Not one, not two, not three, but there's multiple children and keep making dumb decisions when I'm like, you don't need children. Not today and not ever, okay? So, wait, hold on. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Dory Monster Doll Lover. Okay, lover of dolls. Happy birthday and stuff and whatnot. And congrats for being a year older today. Okay. This lady right here. Okay, her name is Kelly Marie Bryant. Okay. Now the Getcha Gotcha was when the story first broke here in Detroit. You know, Pontiac is a surrounding city. Okay. Again, a Pontiac mama charged with first degree child abuse because she abandoned her three children and she deserved to get arrested. Okay, she deserves to go to jail, lock her ass up, and throw away the key, if you ask me. Now, when the news first broke, it was a lot of like, look, like what happened? How old is the kids? Where was the mama? That's a mug shot. This her on Facebook and the social medias partying and having a good time and and whatever and whatnot. And this is her mug shot from when she was arrested over there in Oakland County. And I said, ma'am, get out my face. We don't like you. Not today, not ever. Because everybody don't need to be that everyone does not need to be a parent. Everyone does not need to be a some folks should really have the option. So, look, I feel because I was like, how does that happen? And the same way we had a conversation about the mama who kids died in the car because it was homeless. This person left the kids in the home and left them there for 4 years. I was like, what? Since COVID? Not since COVID. Now, initially, they were not releasing her name. They were not releasing her picture or nothing. Okay, because they said one of the because it was a 15-year-old boy, a 13-year-old daughter, and a 12-year-old daughter. And because the mama name is the same as one of the kids' name, they did not want to put her name out there to keep the kids out the media, whatever. But child, Detroit, Michigan, and the surrounding, we nosy, okay. And I wasn't even on social media, and I was like, wait a minute, I need to see who she is. So I went to the Oakland County jail website because I said, wait, the police said she got arrested. So let me go see what women was arrested on the weekend or whatever. And I said, and then they said she was 34. Okay, so 34. So 2025 minus 34. Okay, she was born in 1991. I was doing child my Inspector Gadget shit. Okay, and I went and I found all the people who was arrested, with the birth year 91. And then I said, wait a minute. They said that she was arrested on Valentine's Day. Okay, cool. Who was arrested on Valentine's Day who was born in 1991? And I found her. So I figured out who she was because I did my research. But social media had y'all found her, had found her Facebook page or whatever, and they was posting different little clips of her and stuff. And so that is where the two photographs on the thumbnail, because again, that's her as a mama, but the kids is at home by themselves for the past 4 years in Pontiac, fending for themselves. And she's somewhere with her hair done, her clothes clean, makeup on, and the kids is up here abandoned child at the damn house. So I was like, what is going on? Okay. Wait. And I'm off with the story, so if you ask a question, I already asked. Oh no, we're just getting started. We're just getting started. So I want to first let me go to I want to show y'all. Let's get into the actual press conference they had today because they had to charge the mama. They had to charge the mama first. And even though she was arrested on Valentine's Day, which was last Friday, in the system, she didn't have any charges. Because when I pulled her up, let me see if the charges in there. Because child, look, I know how to go. I can find, and again, if you do a little bit of searching, child, you can find what you're looking for. Okay. Initially, when I was on the Oakland County website, there were no charges for her, and I said, "Ooh, that's probably her because." But let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. For the Oakland County website. Hold on. So, on here, there are no charges yet. Again, arrested on last week, Friday, but there were no charges. And that's how I said, oh, it must be her because they were not releasing any information. And the only other female who was born in the same year that was also arrested on the same day had already been charged with other stuff. So I knew it was her. Okay. So, boom. Even though she has been officially charged with, in the courts today, well, no, she'll be arraigned tomorrow. She'll be arraigned tomorrow, but they still have not listed her charges in here. But she has been charged with first-degree child abuse because she left them kids in that house by themselves since around 2020 or 2021. And they're getting most of the information from the children. From the children. Now, again, they released about 3 photographs of the house. Now, look, y'all, it's dirty. Okay. Dirty house. Because if you leave children in the house, it's going to be dirty. Okay. If you leave, because again, if she left them there around 2020, 2021, if they're 15, 12, and 13 now, the son, who's the oldest, would have been around 10, maybe 11. Okay, 10 or 11. The daughters would have been around, 8 years old. So children don't know. And I feel like they also wasn't probably taught how to clean or even take care of themselves because she's a bad parent. So when the police went around there to see what's going on, because again, mama left them, and let me put a news story. The mama left them, and it turns out, even though there were 3 kids that she left in the house, she has 4 children. Around 2020, 2021, so around COVID time, she gave 1 child to the daddy. The 3 remaining kids that was in this house since 2020, 2021, their daddy was in prison. So she couldn't give the other 3 to their daddy because he was in jail. So she left the kids at the house, at a condo house over in Pontiac, okay, and she lived elsewhere. And for some reason, she kept paying the rent, and she would have food dropped off, child, Instacart, DoorDash, and stuff. And the only reason they found out the kid was in the house because the mama stopped paying the rent in October. The mama paid the rent in October. She had not talked to the landlord since December. So the landlord did not even know the kids was there without the mama. But once she stopped paying rent and once she wasn't talking to the landlord no more, the landlord thought something may have happened to her. So landlord called for a wellness check for the mama, not the children, the mama. And when the police went in there and they opened the house, opened the door, whatever, broke in and whatnot. Well, no, they went in with the landlord who had keys. Okay, filthy house. Okay, completely filthy. Child poop in the toilet, poop in the tub. Trash stacked 2, 3, 4, 5 feet high in the house because they're kids. They're kids. I was like, that is absolutely insane. Okay, absolutely insane. Okay, now again, detectives believe the kids were abandoned sometime around the spring or summer of 2020. Because again, the kids don't even had no sense of time. they don't know time, but we've been in the house. And that's it. Okay. So kids can't recall how long they've been in the house. But again, since around spring, summer of 2020, that was COVID time and stuff. Okay. So they learned the mother would drop off trash. The mother dropped off trash bags, gloves, and Febreze for them in 2020, but never brought them any other hygiene products, meaning no tissue, no soap, no toothpaste, no deodorant, no body wash, okay, no shampoo, no lotion. Okay, so again, that was back in 2020. Mom ain't brought them shit since. Okay, again, lock our ass up forever. Okay, it says that while the kids were living in the house, their mother was living at another location somewhere else in Pontiac. Okay, we don't know where she was living or who she was with, but again, the mama did not live at the house. Okay, then they asked who dropped off food for the kids. Okay, I'm gonna share this screen because I'm gonna let y'all see what I'm reading from. Hold on, hold on, hold on, because I'm on our website for channel 4. Okay, click on the 4. Okay, so y'all can kind of see what I'm saying. Again, who dropped off food for the kids? While the children were abandoned, they survived off weekly drop-offs of prepared meals. Now, while this says weekly, they were saying that it wasn't always every week. They said sometimes it may not be weekly. This is just a quick rundown of things and stuff like that. So, Bouchard, who was the I think it was the prosecutor, tried the police. The police said the investigation showed the delivery company, Instacart, DoorDash, were dropping off food. So the mama, like, I don't want to be a mama. I don't want to deal with it. Okay. But I can lead them some Instacart and some DoorDash. Okay. It says it doesn't appear that any of the drivers were aware of anything in the house. How would they? DoorDash, like if somebody say, hey, drop it off, don't just knock and leave, that's what they're gonna do. Okay. It says also that they would sit towards the end of their time living alone. The kids were allegedly given one loaf of bread dropped off that would last them 3 or 4 days. I'm like, not no. And it's insane that it went on again since around 2020. Where are the kids' daddies? The father of the children had been in jail, in prison for some time, and didn't have any contact with the kids. The police said that when he got out, he filed papers to give visitations to see the kids and got issued a visitation decree in 2022. However, the mama did not allow him to see the kids. So, but I'm like, why didn't the daddy say, hey, judge, court, I got this court order and she won't let me see my. So again, the daddy to me, how have you not laid eyes on your kid? You can't, if I have a court order to visit my kids, I don't want to never see them. It's crazy. Why didn't family members help the kids? The police said the relatives of the children had no idea what was happening to the kids. The mother had allegedly told them that somebody else was babysitting. Who was babysitting for 4 years? And again, I feel like this is the point of reference of if people are not already involved in kids' lives, they don't care. Because I can't see myself going years without laying eyes on the kids. I think the only saving grace could have been, we'll find out later on, the kids all had cell phones. So I do wonder if they was like texting people, but didn't say what was going on. I'm not sure. Okay. Why didn't the kids ask for help? It says when referring why the children didn't leave for help, the kids were young and scared. They were doing what their mama told them, meaning the mama said, don't leave the house. And not only that, if all they've known is that house, if they've never left the house before, if that's all they know, they wouldn't think like we think. They kids. Again, they may be the 15, 13, and 12 now, but again, 4 years ago, they were even younger. So it's just weird and whatnot, okay? But let me pull up now the actual press conference.
Good afternoon. First, I'd like to announce that we have authorized 3 charges of first-degree child abuse against Kelli Bryant, a 34-year-old resident of Pontiac. My office has already advised the court in the neglect proceedings that we will be asking to terminate the defendant's parental rights.
As you should. Now again, she was charged with first degree child abuse, okay? And I was like, what does that mean? What is the definition for that? I have to put it up in Michigan. So first degree child abuse means a person knowingly or intentionally causes serious physical harm or serious mental harm to a child. It's a felony punishable of up to life in prison. I think she should get life. When you abandon 3 kids in a house for over 3 years, 3 or 4 years or whatever, you should absolutely get life in prison. You didn't That's complete abandonment, okay? And they said first degree child abuse is the highest charge you can get for this crime. So she deserved it all up and through.
In every case of child abuse, my office focuses first and foremost on the best interest of the child or children and on holding those responsible for abuse accountable. The 3 children in this case suffered unimaginable abuse and neglect over a long period of time. Thankfully, they've now been rescued from that, and our first priority has been and will continue to be their safety and well-being. I want to briefly address, though, why we're here. Since the first announcement over the weekend by the sheriff, this case has captured the attention of the people across our community, our county, our state, and even internationally, because people are rightfully concerned about the welfare of these children. And we're holding this press conference because, like all other decisions, we balance the interests of public safety, media attention and inquiries, and balancing everyone's right to a fair trial.
And I also think because we just had the story of the mom who lost 2 children due to being homeless here in Detroit, for it to be, a week or so later, now we have a mom who abandoned her 3 kids in the house. It's like that shows how easily people don't be paying attention. People don't be helping. People sometimes, it's just the kids are always the victim.
Which is why the events and facts that are disclosed here today are strictly confined to what's already been placed on the record in the swear-to this morning in the 50th District Court. When their circumstances became public, including the photos of the home, although law enforcement did not identify the defendant, she was quickly identified on social media and also has been reported in other news media outlets, which is why we are naming her today.
Because again, before they were telling us they were not going to give us her name, they did not put out a picture. And when the story first hit, they did show the lady house. So folk because again, Pontiac is a small city. It's a small city here. It's one of the suburban cities here in Detroit. But it's a small city. So once they said like the kind of location, people kind of figured out where it was, and they figured out who the mama was. Probably the mama was arrested. Now I did see someone ask about the school. They couldn't remember the school, so I have pulled it up, and it was said that by the police department that because she left them around COVID time. So that played a part in it. Okay, but it also said that the gaps in schools, okay, and I'm sorry, in the state school code allowed it to go undetected because they said one school received a request for the records, meaning the kids are attending school A and they're transferring to school B. So school B gets a transfer request from school A. However, they never transferred to school B. So school A assumes because the mama told us, hey, they're going to school B. School B requested records from school A. When they never got any records from school A, school B just dropped the kids off the registry. School A assumed they're at school B. So both schools missed it. Neither school put in a request to see where they at. But I'm like, that could have been the mama's fault too, because the mama tricked them and made them think, oh, well, yeah, they're going to transfer, and it never happened. But yeah, here they were saying at that COVID time, because if school A is saying, hey, they're going to school B, it's on school B, But school B felt like, well, we never got the paperwork, so they're not here, and they was never here. So it was just a whole fuck up.
The children are currently staying with a relative. All three children received immediate medical attention at a local hospital, and they were interviewed by trained forensic interviewers at Care House. Considering what they've experienced, they appear to be doing okay. Obviously, the trauma here is significant, and my office, including our victim services section, will make sure these children are supported during this process. Today, the charges are 3 counts of child abuse in the first degree. This is the most serious charge for child abuse, and if convicted, Ms. Bryant could face a sentence of up to life in prison. In the swear-to this morning, on the record, it was stated that in 2019, suspect Kelli Bryant was living at the home, which I'm not disclosing the address at this time, in Pontiac, Michigan, with her 4 children.
Again, she has 4 kids. 4. Only 3 was left in the house.
At some point between 20 and 2021, the suspect moved out of her home, leaving 3 of her children abandoned in that location, while 1 of her children went to live with their father. On February 14, 2025, police were called to the home by the landlord. Police learned that the landlord was concerned for the welfare of Ms. Bryant, who had not paid rent on the property since October of 2024. Police entered with the landlord and discovered her 3 children, ages 12, 13, and 15. Her daughters were hiding in a bathroom that was filled with feces, piles of trash, and completely non-functional, while her son was hiding in another room. Police were astonished to find anyone in the location because it appeared to be uninhabitable, with piles of garbage and refuse several feet high, including large amounts of human excrement.
And human excrement means poop, pee, meaning the children, because the bathroom wasn't working, they couldn't flush the toilet. As you see, it was completely filthy everywhere. Just deplorable conditions. But again, you can't really blame it's the kids. If the plumbing don't work, they can't fix it. But not only that, I'm like, the landlord, you ain't do no house inspections.
The children were afraid to come out of their hiding places and to speak with the police. Police had to repeatedly advise the children that they were there to help and they were safe. The children's bodies and clothing were covered in feces, and the girls had difficulty physically walking outside of the residence.
Now they were saying that the kids had trouble walking out because they had not been groomed in years. Hair not combed. They had not cut their toenails, had not cut their fingernails. So they were saying that the girls had trouble walking because their toenails were so long, it hurt them to walk. Even they were saying how dirty the clothes were. They didn't have tissue, paper towel. They were using a bathroom. They don't know how to properly, clean themselves. They were children who've been alone since they were, 6, 7 years old. And even outside of that, who knows how good of a mother she was beforehand.
In addition to the physical difficulty, they appeared to be and were immediately overstimulated upon leaving the residence. All 3 children were transported via ambulance to the hospital and showed signs of severe neglect. At the hospital, the children struggled with completing basic hygiene tasks like flushing a toilet and brushing their teeth because they had not done it in years. The children were forensically interviewed and described having virtually no physical contact with their mother, suspect Bryant, or the outside world in several years. The girls had not left the residence in several years, and her son had only left the home to go into the yard approximately 2 times, never venturing away from the house more than to check the mailbox. During his interview, her son stated that he would text their mother when their food supply was running low, and she would have food delivered to the residence. The children shared that during the years they were concealed in the home, their suspect Bryant failed to provide toilet paper, soap, or shampoo. The defendant instructed the kids that they were not to answer the door or leave the house. All 3 children expressed fear about what their mother's response would be if they left the home. Defendant concealed the children from family and friends and lied about who was caring for the kids and their whereabouts.
Now, while I get that the mama was lying, was not being honest about who had the kids, what the kids were, I still feel like going 3, 4, almost 5 years with not laying eyes on the kids doesn't make any sense to me. I feel like at some point, the grandparents, aunts, uncles, even cousins, like how is no one ever saying why we keep saying that seeing the mama, we don't never see the kids. I feel like that's crazy unless the mama was also kind of not around the family and made them, because we do know that some people can be standoffish. They may not rock with their family too much, so it could be that she just made them not be close to the family so that way no one knew how bad things were. Again, she already gave the other child, the fourth child, to their daddy. And so who knows how much she even, because I might did the other child not say, hey, I ain't seen my siblings.
The defendant took the active steps of lying and concealing to make sure the children went undiscovered, and she took these actions knowing that her children would suffer serious physical and emotional harm as a result. Those are the statements made in the swear-to this morning. And again, these are allegations. I do want to point out and thank all the officers that were on scene that day. I personally viewed the videos and images and was struck at what a difficult situation it was, but in the face of that difficulty, offered compassion to these kids. I also want to thank Detective John Brush and Lieutenant Sam Marsban for their dedication in working this case, and of course the assistant prosecutors involved, Chief of Administration Betsy Haig, Chief of our SVU Sarah Green, APA Lauren Benninger, Chief of the Juvenile Division Kelly Collins, and APA Kanika Ferenczi for their diligent efforts in this case. At present, we've not been presented with a request for criminal charges against any other individuals. That does not mean that won't happen in the future. I just can't speak to it at this point. Morally, there is plenty of responsibility to go around for how this was allowed to happen. However, these 3 kids were entrusted to the care of their mother, Kelli Bryant, and the evidence suggests that she effectively abandoned them to a revolting pit of refuse and squalor. There must be consequences for those actions. The defendant is presently in custody. The 3 children in this case were interviewed at Care House, and I want to emphasize how important Care House is to this community. These kids were interviewed in a safe environment by an experienced, trained forensic interviewer, and these interviews are important in all child abuse cases. They allow each child the chance to tell us their story without the influence of the abuser and without using leading questions that could taint their testimony. And before I take questions, I just want to remind you that these charges, again, are only allegations, and the defendant is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. Questions?
Not having been to the area, neighbors, anybody? I mean, I think what maybe people struggle with is how intimidated by their mother, yes, but how they could not even venture out of the home, or just nobody knowing that they were there. Or can you add context into, how that can happen?
I feel like whenever anyone asks a question about, well, why didn't the kids do this? Why did the kids venture out? Why didn't the kids, like, shut up? Shut up. I feel like we can't put our adult thoughts and common sense thoughts on children, because clearly the question should be, why would the grown adult mama not think to not leave her children at home by themselves for 4 years in a house for where she can't pay the rent? Because again, the landlord said, well, child, she stopped paying it, meaning she probably last paid in October. He did not get rent for November. He had not heard from her since December, and it's now February. And he then said, oh, hey, how about you go check and see if she okay? I hope ain't nothing wrong. I also saw a statement that said the landlord of this place, he had not registered that address as a rental a space, because if he had listed as a rental, they would have had to have done rental inspections over the years. So a part of the blame can go to the landlord for renting the space and not letting anyone know it was a rental. Because again, how did no one know? How did no one know? Not anyone in the family, not the landlord, not the schools. It was like, this is the perfect just clusterfuck of no one paying any attention. Of no one paying any attention. They have not said, I don't know if it was Section 8 or not. I feel like if it was, they would have had to been doing some kind of inspections. So that's a good question. They were in school before. Before COVID happened, it seemed as if it wasn't any issues, or if there were, they weren't reported. All of it started at once, because once COVID happened, everyone went home. It was in homeschooling and all that stuff. So the one thing that we did see them saying, the kids was in one school. They were in school A. School A sent a thing to school B saying, hey, the mom and them said the kids transferring to school B. But because school B never got the paperwork, they dropped the kids off of registration. And then school A, just said, well, they ain't here either. So it was just a trifecta of fucked up situations. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of weird. And I'm like, where was the mama working? Because she was paying rent at this place. She was living somewhere else, and they still have not said where else she was living, but she was living somewhere in Pontiac. We just don't know exactly where it was.
I can only comment on what's been placed on the record. That's my ethical duty. But I will say that we see time and time again, victims of severe abuse of all ages make decisions that don't seem reasonable to us. And what we know is that's very common. And there's a multitude of reasons why they didn't leave the home. We just don't know that yet.
And again, because they're now 15, 13, and 12. And again, if the mama left around 2020, the oldest would have been 10 at the time, back in 2020. So who knows what kind of parent she was? Who knows what kind of just mental anguish, mental abuse she subjected them to. Again, the kids saying, hey, mama said don't leave the house, and we ain't leave the house. We scared what's going to happen if we do. Who knows what else happened? But I do feel like it's not surprising that kids did what their mama said.
Yes.
Have prosecutors or deputies interviewed the fathers of the children?
They have. Yes.
Multiple fathers or one father?
I think it's already public record that of the 4 kids, there are 2 fathers.
So again, she had 4 children. The one child was already taken out the house, and she gave that one child to the daddy. The 3 kids who were left in the house, their daddy, they all had the same father. Their father was in prison. When he got out, he tried to get visitation. He was approved visitation in 2022, but the mama never let him see the kids. So who knows what he has tried to do since 2020 or since 2022. But again, I'm like,
Prosecutor McDonald,
yes.
What stands out about this case to you? I mean, it's a pretty significant child abuse case.
That's a difficult question and a really good question. I said yesterday, and I've said this to the sheriff personally, we say a lot, this is the worst I've ever seen. And I've stopped saying that because every time I say that, I see something worse. It was unbelievable what they were living with for years. Unbelievable. It wouldn't be surroundings where you would want any living creature living in.
And again, the crazy part is they only released these 3 photographs just to give a look into how dirty the house was, how filthy the house was. Again, you can see this child filth, because kids don't clean up in general. And if you don't tell them how to clean themselves, if the toilet don't work and all they know is we got it, you can see they were just no tissue, again, think about for years, if you have nothing to clean yourself with, you just use whatever's around the house. And then that becomes your norm. You know what I'm saying? And that's the hard part to realize. To the kids, this was normal. To the kids, they was like, well, if we gonna be, we dirty. To them, it probably isn't even dirty. To them, it's probably this is just how we live. And I think before they were saying, maybe the son slept on like a mattress on the floor, and the one son who's 15 now, he slept like on the floor, like on like a mattress or something. The daughters were sleeping on like pizza boxes. Because again, the mama would send food, here and there to the kids. So the daughters have been sleeping on pizza boxes. It's insane. And then the first thing I thought was, well, dang, let's even hope the brother wasn't, doing stuff for because you never know. And the daughters being, 12 and 13 years old, like, insane.
Or animal, or particularly human beings. I mean, these kids, not to have even basic hygiene tools. And I guess what stands out the most for me is no love. There was nobody there to care for them for between 3 and 4 years. No parent, nobody physically present to let them know that they were safe and they were loved. Yes.
Did she have any prior contact with CPS or a prior criminal record?
I can't comment on that.
Okay. Is she being held on any outstanding charges, or is it just on this and then she'll be arraigned tomorrow?
We are not aware of any other holds or matters that she would be held under. At this moment, she's being held because of these pending charges. Now they're official, and she'll be arraigned, I believe, tomorrow.
Can you provide more context, appreciating what you said about, you mentioned that he would text his mother, one of the older boy. So he had access to a phone apparently, but...
All the children had access to the phones. They all had their own phones.
So would they see her? I read an account that maybe she dropped some food off weekly, or can you talk about how they survived if they didn't leave the home, how often she came, and where she was staying?
There was no, according to the evidence that's been placed on the record, there was no physical contact whatsoever. And I don't think it's accurate to say that they had food dropped off weekly. Sometimes, right. Sometimes it was longer than that.
In there, but do we know if there was heat or air conditioning in the summer?
I don't have that. That has not been put on the record. But I do not believe that there was. I believe there was heat enough so that the children were at least able to live there. If not, as you know, given the cold temperatures, there would have been signs of freezing to death.
Even her bringing up how the kids had cell phones, how the son would text the mom, her making it clear that don't think this mama was still coming every week. Hey, y'all, here goes some warm food. Hey, y'all, here goes some bread and water. I like the fact that she's making it clear it wasn't a every week drop-off thing. It was sometimes she brought food and the kid had to fend for themselves until someone dropped off more, or until the son texted the mom and said, hey, we ain't got no food. So I think they don't want anyone to feel like, well, the kids just live by themselves. It's like, no, she left them there and would drop food off, here, there, or whatever. Even them asking about if the house had, either air conditioning or heat. And she said, well, clearly, even if the house had heat. Because of how cold it gets in Michigan, you can't survive a winter in Michigan without no heat. So the mom, she probably kept up the rent to even not have to deal with the kids in general. But it probably they maybe did not have air conditioning or whatever. But it's like dropping food off every 2-3 weeks for 3 kids, but never going in the house, because she's also saying there was no physical contact. The mama never went back in the house. Okay, mama never went back. Even if she dropped off food on the porch, or she had Instacart drop off food, or she had DoorDash, no one went in the house for years at all. I seen someone ask about the father. The father, these 3 children was in prison. He got out of prison and he went to court to get visitation. The mama would not allow him to see the kids, and that was in 2022. Her fourth child, who she gave that kid to the daddy, I think she gave the kid to the daddy. And sometimes y'all know how it will be. If you is a person and you have more kids by different people, some men feel like, okay, I got my kid, I don't have to worry about her other kids, them and my children. So what probably happened was she gave that daddy the one kid, hey, here you go, and said, you over there. And because she could not give the three remaining kids to their father, she just left herself. Now, I don't know why when he came home in 2022 that she kept not allowing him to see the kids. I think at that point she knew I'm in some bullshit. But I'm like, what was the end goal? What was the end goal? Because if you left them in 2020, it's now 2022. There's a court order for you to allow the father to see them, and she's lying and not allowing him to see them, and lying to the family members saying, hey, well, no, somebody else got them. And it probably makes sense to them because, again, if my fourth child is with their daddy, so y'all know I don't have any of my kids, but I'm like, I don't know why no one asked the question, why can't we see the kids? Because did anyone see her fourth kid? Did anyone see the fourth kid? So again, to me, a lot of folk failed these children.
Where was she staying?
I don't have that information. Not there.
And obviously you've charged her, so she thinks I'm assuming then obviously there's competence. So not that there's ever a reason for something of this horrific nature, but any inferences to the why that she just decided to abandon her kids beyond, some may think mental issues, but obviously not if you're charging her.
Right. Without commenting particularly on this case, as the prosecutor over the last over 4 years, I've been asked, and I hear repeatedly that question on all of the terrible, violent, atrocious acts that we see, the why. And the answer is we don't know why. We can't get in the mind of somebody else. But we do know what the evidence shows, and we have the law. And nobody who is not found competent can stand trial. So I can't comment on that right now. But just to say that sometimes there isn't a why.
And even that, I think we also have to understand all of this just got discovered on Friday. It's only Wednesday. Okay. Again, no one knew before Friday that, preliminary information. Okay. The landlord only called in the wellness check because the mom has stopped paying rent and has stopped reaching out. So even he was like, well, I don't know what's going on over there, officer. And so when they went over there and then the police and the landlord found the children over there, I feel like, we have to remember they're still investigating. The kids were found on Friday. They got the kids out the house. The mama was arrested on Friday at a different, and I think the reason probably was because if the kids had phones, they probably could find the mom through whatever phone number she was talking to the kids from. And then the mama was arrested on Friday. They have to still do more investigation, have more conversations, talk to the kids more, talk to the people more to even see what the hell happened.
Yes.
Is there any evidence to suggest that there's substance abuse may have been involved or anything?
I can't comment on that.
It was asking, was there any substance abuse? No one has said currently that the mama was on drugs. There's nothing. It could just be a badass parent. It might not be drugs at all. Because again, she was on social media. These two pictures is from her social media. Even her mug shot right there. She looked regular degular. So I don't even think it was that she was on. I think she could have just been a badass parent who ain't shit.
Has mom been cooperative?
The defendant has an absolute right to remain silent. So any comment I would make on whether or not she's spoken to the police would be a violation of her rights.
So that means we don't know if she cooperating. We don't know what she said or nothing. But even them saying, well, is she cooperating? Like, well, she has the right to remain silent. So maybe she's going to use that right.
Thank you.
Longer term, can you share what the plan is for the children? And some may wonder if family have taken them in now, how they didn't know about. I'm not trying to assess blame by asking, but where were they prior? How did they not know?
Right.
I mean, there are a lot of questions, obviously.
Good question. And the thing that I want to stress here is that we are responsible for prosecuting all of the criminal cases in this county. We're also responsible for representing the Department of Health and Human Services in child abuse and neglect proceedings. So we are simultaneously prosecuting the criminal case against mom and the neglect proceeding pertaining to the kids. So we will be asking our client, the Department of Health and Human Services, to file a petition to terminate her rights.
Which is great. And her rights should be terminated for all 4 children, not just the 3. Also, even though she gave the 4th child to the father, or whatever, I still feel like she needs She take all her parental rights, tie her tubes, sew her vagina up. Nothing should be able to come in or out of her vagina. She should not be able to have sex no more. None of that.
There's just a lot we can't really get into, except I do want to say that our client, the Department of Health and Human Services, their number one priority is the care and welfare of children. And wherever they are placed, they do their due diligence to make sure that is a safe placement. And all I can say is that those questions were asked and obviously satisfied. And the other thing I want to say is there's been such an outpouring in this community, but I would just stress that in the effort to take care of these kids, that we also protect their privacy. And Pontiac, if those of you who don't know, it's a small place and everybody knows everybody, and any outrage is totally understandable, but we want to do as much as we can to protect their placement so that they are protected.
But to be clear, they are not wards of the state. They are with family.
They are in the care and custody of the Department of Health and Human Services, and they are placed through DHHS with a relative placement.
So again, that was her saying they are they are under the care of Health and Human Services, basically Child Protective Services. However, they place them with a family member. We don't know which family member at all, but her even saying how they had to investigate to be sure where the kid were placed with a safe place. Again, for me, I don't go more than a couple of days from talking to DJ. But I can also, there are also other family members I ain't talked to in a while. Most of them, I know they're okay because they post on social media. But I can imagine any kid in my family, in my life, where I'm just like not seeing them somewhere at some event, some family gathering. We're not seeing them at all. But it could absolutely be the fact that the mama just stayed away from family and told them, well, the kids somewhere else. We ain't coming over there. Okay, leave us be, bitch. So I'm happy she made it clear that we had to investigate the family where we put them, but they are with family. The fact that the daddy tried to see them and get a court order to see them in 2022, it shows someone else wanted to at least see the kids. But if the mama is the one being difficult, then, what can we do?
Yes, the custody remains with DHHS until otherwise determined by the court. And again, those are two different proceedings.
Separate tracks.
Yes, that we are, there was a preliminary hearing yesterday, and we'll continue to provide information about that as that moves along.
Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you so much.
That was it. Look, I feel like a lot of people, I'm going to go back to some of your comments. I feel like a lot of anger will be toward this bitch here. Okay, the mama, because no one, I don't think anyone. Again, we just had the conversation last week about the mama who was homeless and kept her 4 kids with her in a car and ended up losing her 2 kids. And even she was saying, I was reaching out for help. I couldn't get no help. So seeing this story today where this mama had 4 kids, gave 1 kid to the daddy, and was still paying rent for the 3 kids to be abandoned in the house and dropping off, door dashes and stuff like that. Like it kind of showed she had resources enough to pay a rent amount and order them food every once and again. But again, the fact that she never went back to the house and they were living in just horrible, inhumane conditions. Okay. And the only reason that it came out was because the landlord said, well, I ain't got my rent. And she said, let's go and see what's going on. And luckily because who knows how much longer the children could have been in there by themselves. And the mama wasn't doing shit. Now I might, again, she will be arraigned tomorrow. I'm gonna follow this case because I'm looking like, yeah, where were you living? And I seen a couple of lives that she did and some posts of her like allegedly, have like a little food drive or whatever. But it kind of shows how people be around here acting normal and don't be normal at all. And I appreciate the lady being very clear and saying, hey, don't look at this as, well, at least she paid for the food, at least she paid for the rent. And it's like, no, she left her children alone to fend for themselves for up at least since around 2020. And the oldest kid at that point was 10. And I didn't like seeing how much people kept on asking, well, why didn't they leave? How could they? They may not know to leave. Right. If I don't hear from my people and about child, look, I follow DJ's location. I text him. I'm like, no, FaceTime me. I need to see your face. But in my mind, I also said, play devil's advocate. I said, look, I know of family members who don't see DJ. And I said to my mom, 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 I wonder if we didn't post, stuff about DJ, would other family members be like, where DJ at? So in my head, I was like, to me, that means, in this family's case, I said, to me, that means family who are not typically in them kids' lives, to them, they're used to not seeing them. They're used to them kids not being around. And if mama is saying, if someone asks, what June bug in them at? Oh, at the house. At the house. You or tell them I said hi, and you don't think nothing wrong because the mama saying Junebug, Ladybug, and Bumblebee at the house, and they fine. And because you not thinking crazy mama left them at home, because that ain't a lie. They was at home. They were at home. But them not realizing they there, but you not there. You ain't gave them no baths. And even how as a woman can you know you have 2 daughters at the house of the age of getting a cycle, of their bodies changing? And I said, hopefully that brother wasn't touching. I'm saying, because you never know. You left them kids, and even not only that, it is, look, I said, I can't imagine if I was their age, 10 years old and younger. Let's see, let's do the math. Because the 13-year-old would have been 9, so the 12-year-old would have been 8, and the 15-year-old would have been 10. So I feel like I can imagine being that age and being at home and ain't nobody here. I'm scared, bitch. It is windy outside. It be thundering outside. It be storming outside. I'm like, who shoveled the snow? But if the kids ain't leaving, no one needs to shovel. You know what I'm saying? The mama again was paying, was paying the bills or whatever. At least the rent. At least the rent was being paid up until October, and at least the cell phone. You know what? The cell phones may have only been on through like internet shit. We don't even know if the phone was like on like to make phone calls. So it's like, and again, this is all new stuff. Again, she was just arrested on Friday. She was just charged today. She's been arraigned tomorrow. So I feel like more information will come out in the coming days and stuff for it to kind of get more information. But again, I'm like, the kids ain't legal. The kid was told not to go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Don't go nowhere. My son's bio, they have 3 other sons. They never reach out to ask about or see their little brother. And again, that be the thing where I say people who are not involved in certain, and I feel like, no one can be involved in everyone's life, but I feel like you have like immediate family where you are supposed to kind of like reach out and see. You know what I'm saying? DJ is well, technically I got other nephews and a niece, but because I have my half siblings who I did not know until like recently or whatever. But like DJ and stuff is in my family. So I do feel like, when you are when you are the mother, father, sister, brother, and the people, I feel like you wonder where Junebug and them at. The only people who don't wonder where Junebug and them at is people who don't really, they not involved at all. You might be the brother or the sister of the kid, mama, daddy, but you don't really care that much. And if sister-in-law say, well, they're at the house, and that's it, no one cares. Child, now she got her hiding herself. Well, no, this picture, she looked like she out here having a good time. Makeup on, her hair done, and her hair clean. Her fingernails don't look dirty. Yes, come on now. When we was younger, when they said don't open the door, you didn't open the door. And again, if that started before they were of age, because again, we can't even look at them as being 15, 12, and 13 now. Think about what was going on before now. For the past 4 years, they have been on their own with no parental nothing. Nothing. They don't know how to wipe, how to wash their bodies. They don't have no soap. It's so much that you don't even think about. And when the lady said, well, they were scared, they were hiding the fact that a 15, 13, 12-year-old kids in the house hiding from the police because they were scared, because they not around nobody. And mama said, don't open the door, don't go outside, and if the house is this damn dirty, you're used to being in the house. The fact that the daughter was hiding in that dirty ass bathroom, that was regular to them. The smell was regular. The stench had to be regular. That was their regular life. So I'm like, no one can even wonder why didn't they leave. It's all the mama fault. It's all the mama fault. Yeah, and some people like, hey, some feel like I ain't leaving. No, you ain't going nowhere. We here together. You want to teach your children how to be, and they had, because the fact that they had not cut their toenails, they had not combed their hair, they didn't know how to do any of that shit. And so when I seen people online, and I seen the one reporter that asked, why didn't they leave? Go where? And to go where? If they didn't have help before, what help could they call? If no one was around beforehand, what help? Who can they call? And again, I said maybe the phones were not, like regular phones. They could have had phones for games and for social media, whatever. But if you are, 10, 7, whatever, 8 years old or whatever, you don't know shit. They don't have the same thought process that we have. And even when the guy asked about them having heat and air, I was like, shit, y'all, look, the fact that they had heat so they didn't freeze to death, but if they did not have air, it was hot as hell in the summer, they could have easily had a heat stroke. Easily had a heat stroke. So the mama, again, mama lock her ass up, throw away the key, sew up her coochie, take out her tubes. She don't need no more kids. No more. Now I think the question they're gonna probably ask is, I do wonder which family member they put the kids with. Was it the daddy? But the fact that they're saying they want to keep that, private, so that way the kids can have some privacy. Because no one, like, I don't need to see them kids, like, no, nothing. But I do just wonder who in the family would say, well, we kept trying and kept trying and kept trying, and she kept lying and lying and lying. So I do wonder which family member stepped up and was investigated by the child services to be approved to get them kids. I'm happy that they was how the city and everybody else in the surrounding cities donated a whole bunch for them kids. They need clothes, shoes, all that. Child, they need everything. And they ain't been to school in years. Them kids, can they count? If them kids have not been to school since 2020, you forget shit when you don't. I can't talk in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish no more. I don't use it. So the thing that you learn in school, if you never use it, you lose it. So the fact that they're probably even a bit remedial because they have not been taught nothing in years. And when she brought up how when they left the house, it was like sensory overload because it's people, it's sounds, there's just too much going on. So Kelli Marie Bryant, bitch, they're gonna beat you up in prison. They're gonna beat your ass in prison, and they need to. Like, no, I don't know if she has mental issues. I don't know if I don't know, but I do feel like at some point she had sense enough to give the fourth kid to the daddy. She had sense enough to lie about what the kids were for years. She had sense enough to keep paying the rent at that place so that no one knew what was going on. She had sense enough to make sure them kids had phones to text her. She had sense enough to duck and dodge parenting. So to me, she not crazy. She's real smart. It takes a genius, a criminally insane one, but a genius to get to the point of where you leave your 3 children alone in the house and no one figures it out for years. Not until you stop. Had she kept paying rent, no one would have went over there. No one would have went over there. And then the lady said it wasn't a everyday food. It was food here and there. Even the fact that she was like not giving them no soap, no tissue, bitch. So you think the kids can't? They go to the bathroom. Who don't have to? Bitch, right now I got 2 brand new 24 packs of Charmin. I need third. You always have tissue, paper towel, deodorant, toothpaste to ain't brush their teeth, can't flush no toilets. So she had full common sense I think if the daddy wasn't in prison, she would probably try to give the kids to him. How she did her 4th kid, he wasn't there. And she said, well, I'll leave him here and go live my life and be out here on social media, posting pictures, posing for the camera with my earrings on. The fact that that's a new wig. It's a new wig in the goddamn mugshot. And to me, when they said the landlord did not register the place as a rental. I said, well, I'm blaming, but the landlord was the one who called the police. At least he said, the, at least he felt like, let me be sure she okay, because she been paying rent. She been paying with me rent for 3-4 years, 4-5 years since 2020, and all of a sudden she stopped communicating. Now I do wonder what made her stop communicating. What did she know that? Did she know it was like, I'm gonna get found out, because who stopped paying rent all of a sudden? And if you do stop paying rent, why not go get the kids? So I mean, lock her ass up, throw away the key, sew a coochie up every day, every day. So we shall see how the story unfolds. I do wonder what else she was. I do wonder what. Like, I wonder, will she have a excuse for why she did what she did? Like, what can be? What is her logical reason for leaving one day during COVID and just not going back? Yeah, the fact that, but I think if she left them kids in 2020, 2021, once the daddy came home from prison in 2022 and got visited, but you know what I wonder? Not, I'm like, did the court not even ask the mama where the kids were? Because the daddy went to court to get visitation. I'm like, do the kids not have to be like questions to be sure about stuff? You know? But again, the daddy gave the visitation in 2022, and the mama just keep denying him to see the kids because she knew she had fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But I don't feel bad for her. I don't. Only because she kept paying the rent. She kept paying the rent. So I'm looking like she knew exactly what, she just didn't care. She did not want to be a mama no more. A part of me feel like, did she leave him there and figure like maybe one day they'll just die? And like, what was the end goal of not going over there to see about, even if you left them there, why not still make sure they're okay? Why not make sure they are clean? You ain't there anyway, bitch, go home. You know what I'm saying? So a part of me wonder, like, what was her end goal? Or did she think I can just keep live my life out partying or having fun or whatever, and the kids will just be there? So I can't wait to see what, I wonder if they'll charge anybody else, because if whoever she lived with knew she had children and the kids wasn't with her, why did you never say, well, I see it every day, but I don't never, like, why did no one around her even say, where your kids at? But they said, the mama kept saying that somebody else had the kids. So and I guess because she gave their fourth kid away, maybe that makes sense. Because if I have 4 children and y'all know daddy got the one kid, I do feel maybe her saying the other 3 is with somebody else probably made sense, because they knew she gave away that 4th kid. And if she gave the kids away, that means around 29, 30 is when she left, because she's 34 now. So around 29, 30, she said, fuck this shit. Give 4 babies to the daddy. I can't give my 3 to the daddy because he's in prison, but I can leave him there and go up. And she, you know what? It probably wasn't even a conscious, I'm gonna leave them there forever. She probably left them there a little bit, and then it stopped going back. It probably started. She probably just stopped going back. So we shall see. Anyway, y'all, that's it. That's all. Okay, that's it. That's all. I'm loving these little talks about people who need their ass beat for being bad parents or whatever. Who knows what's the next story I will cover? Okay, but y'all be sure to like the video. Okay, to subscribe. Again, I will probably do a live tomorrow morning at around 11 o'clock. I did one today, so if you have not already, because YouTube is funny acting or whatever. So go watch my live from this morning and stuff and watch the other things or whatever. But yeah, child, lock her up, throw it with the key, lock up her cooch, sew it up. Okay, sew it up. Anyway, if you know, look out, last point. If you have friends who have children and you ain't seen them kids in a while, go lay eyes on them. If we've learned nothing else from this story, from the homeless mama story, if we ain't learned nothing else from these two current stories, check on people and them kids. Okay, lay eyes on the peoples and the kids, the elderly. Go check on Aunt Ruth. Okay, go check on Aunt B. Go check on Juju and them. Juju and them, little Ladybug, okay, little Ray Ray. Go be sure that Kelli Bryant and your family or whatever ain't left them kids somewhere by themselves. If you've learned nothing else, watch and learn and pay attention. If there's a kid in your family you ain't seen in a while, where they at, let me see. Anyway, I gotta go. I love you all. These talks are great. Okay, y'all be good and be safe in these cold ass streets. And I will talk to y'all tomorrow. I gotta go. Bye.